Welcome to the Dusty Butt 2016. For short, we called it the DB 1.4K because it was 1400 kilometres held over 3 days. Many of us rode our bikes from as far away as Auckland, Hamilton, a couple others from the Waikato. I came from Tauranga. There's some other guys from Tauranga as well in the Bay of Plenty. We all rode down to the event, but before we actually got there, we went for a quick whip through the Molesworth station, which goes from Blenheim to Hamner Springs. Unfortunately, I had a bit of an off and hurt my shoulder quite badly. I didn't find out till later that I'd actually broken my collarbone. So I wasn't able to complete the entire event, but I wasn't going to give up. I carried on and I completed most of it. I lost a bit of footage due to the camera getting a little bit damaged, and I lost one of my cards, but never mind. This is my record of the trip, and I hope you enjoy it. The first day started with a trek, mostly off-road, from Fairlie, which is about 2 hours riding time south-west, really, of Christchurch, directly south down to a place called Alexandra. Approximately 500 kilometres, most of it would be off-road. I missed the first off-road section due to my shoulder injury because it was a tough river crossing to begin with, and then a bit of hill climbing and over some farmland, and then we back onto the road. So this was pretty much the beginning of the road section, and there were many miles of gravel road during this event, and this was my first taste of it. I let the guys go first just so I could come to grips with it. It wasn't easy. Firstly, I wasn't very experienced on gravel roads, and secondly, I had a bloody sore shoulder, and thirdly, I didn't want anyone to see me if I fell off. So that's the way it went. This day's riding went for about 12 hours on average, including lunch stops and breaks, and that was, the quicker guys didn't do it much faster than that, and the slower guys did it a wee bit slower, but it was extremely enjoyable, very challenging. Even if I wasn't injured, I would have been extremely challenged, both for me and the bike. I really haven't had so much fun in my life. It was amazing. So just hope you just enjoy it. Sit back and enjoy the footage. I've tried to edit it to keep it as short as possible without making it too boring, but at the same time trying to keep in plenty of shots so you can see the magnificent scenery in the countryside we were going through. Now, I was encouraged to go on this event by my brother, who attended the event last year, and I'm not sure whether he did it the year before or not, but he had done it before. And his friend Phil, who is, both of whom are really experienced enduro riders, off-road riders, motocross. They've been riding bikes forever. He's my younger brother, so I can remember when he started riding bikes at age 5. So that's how long he's been riding for. So anyway, we rode all the way down, and from my place to my brother's house, it was an hour and a half ride for me, and then from my brother's house to Wellington, it took us about another 6 hours. Then we crossed over the Cook Strait on the overnight ferry, and then we took about another 7 odd hours to ride the trip through the northern part of the South Island down to the starting point of the event, which was in Fairlie. In total, we covered about 1,100 kilometres just to get there. You won't see much of my brother and Phil in this footage because they're such good riders. They're so fast. They had bigger bikes than me. They were both on KTM 990s. Ideal sort of bike for this event if you're an experienced rider, because they are quite heavy. Anyway, yeah, they were usually miles in front of me. In this case, actually, on this section, they were way behind me because my brother had a mechanical failure on his bike, and they had to ride to the nearest town to get that repaired before they could continue. So I actually got to the lunch stop first, which was a bit of I thought I was quite clever. Never mind. The other guys that we were riding with were mostly from Hamilton. There was one guy from Auckland. They're all also very experienced riders, and the other thing is they're all used to riding together as well. They had been on various events together for many years. So it was great to catch up with those guys, meet them, and learn of their experiences and hear their stories. And to me, it was just a fantastic adventure all round. Well, some great scenery around here. Because I've never been to this part of the world before. It's all new. Now where do we go? This was to be the first of many gates we had to open and close. The route went through a lot of private property and a lot of conservation land, government owned property, which was fenced off. So every closed gate that we found, we had to go through and make sure it was closed again behind us. It was a good idea to team up with a group of other bikes so that we would work on a relay system. One person would open the gate, proceed through, and stop on the other side and let all the other bikes through, and then that person would close the gate again, and then by the time we got to the next gate, it'd be the next person's turn. And it works really well. It gets people through the gates really quickly. But I found myself isolated on several occasions, so I had to open and close many gates by myself. And when you get a lot of them close together, it gets extremely frustrating. But that's just the way it is. There were also a lot of gate openings where I got helped by the other guys. There are 150 bikes on this trip, so I wasn't isolated for very long at any given time. There was always somebody either in front or behind me, so I was never worried if I had an accident or something else happened, or I got stuck or mechanical failure or something. I knew there were always guys behind me. So on we go. After battling with this gate, I carried on. You'll probably notice as well that I keep fiddling with my cell phone that I've got strapped to my handlebars there. In this case, I was using it as a GPS. The entire route was mapped on a GPS, and every single bike had its own GPS. It was one of the requirements of the trip. And we had downloaded the entire track so that if in the event of getting isolated like I was in this case, we always knew where we were going because we had the entire route or the entire track downloaded onto our GPS. I am amazed at the capabilities of the Apple iPhone. I just used the iPhone for the whole trip using an app, a free app I'd downloaded. No, it wasn't free. I think it cost me $1.50 or something. I downloaded from the internet, and then I just uploaded the route file into that app. Used a separate GPS receiver I had hanging around my neck, so it was a separate satellite GPS receiver, so I was not dependent on an internet signal at any given time. I always had satellite signals. And that's what I use. So you'll often see me sitting and twiddling with the screen, playing with the screen, just to make sure I'm on track and going the right direction. The GPS doesn't quite keep up with the scale. Let my arm calm down. My shoulder. comfortable standing up. Now where do we go? Now I know this doesn't look very hard on the camera, but trust me, it is. Especially with a damaged shoulder, it's got to go really slow. What if we're going into that river down there? Looks like I could go across it. That'll be great. Wet feet. Waddle through. Whoops, hard. Thank you. Right, we're in Kurau at the moment, a place called Kurau. Here for lunch and the fuel stop. Right, as I was saying, we're in Kurau for lunch. It's only about 11:30, but we got here a bit early. A few bikes left, most of them gone to carry on the route, but they're all going over a very difficult mountain saddle. But I'm not, because I'm not fit enough.
So I'm going to take a bypass route and join up with the track on the other side of the mountain. Alright. And apparently the track from there on is pretty easy going, mainly on the road. Ah, shit, just my glove. Just had lunch at this very nice place, the Fairlie Cafe. Very accommodating, nice people. Pies are excellent. So thank you. Thank you, Fairlie Cafe. Cool. See you next time. Well, welcome back everybody. Just tuning in again to my adventure ride. We're going through the Danzies Pass. I thought I'd just switch the camera on because it's such a beautiful piece of road, this. Most of the other guys in the group have gone over what's called the Awakino Pass, which is really, really difficult, impossible for me with my injured shoulder. But even without the injured shoulder, I don't think I'd be doing it. I think it's 74 k's is the route they're taking, and last year it took them 5.5 hours. This year they're hoping to do it a wee bit quicker because they're going the opposite direction, but you just don't know. This way though, apparently I've been told, it only takes about an hour and a half from Kurau, where we had our lunch break, to the next fuel stop. Danzies Pass Road open. Great. A few other bikes have come this way by the looks. This is the alternative route to going over the Awakino Saddle.
Now, just before the end of the Danzies Pass Road, just before it gets into a little place called Naseby, we found this little pub. It's called the Danzies Pass Hotel, and it would have been rude not to stop. After all, we had plenty of time while we were waiting for the other guys to come over the Awakino Saddle. So I stopped there and had a beer and look around. Beautiful old place, be a great place to go and spend a romantic weekend or a quiet weekend. It's only, well, not very far from Naseby, which is the next town, and then Omakau after that. It's not very far, and yeah, not very far from anywhere. Anyway, here's a picture of a trekker. Now, we'd had a discussion about trekkers the night before, and we had a little bit of an argument about what they were and where they came from. So just going through Naseby, and I stumbled across this one with a little explanation on its window. So I took a picture, and I won the argument. After Naseby, we took this road, Thompson's Pass or Thompson's Track or something, across to Cromwell. And of course, once we were at Cromwell, it was just a quick hike down the road for me to Alexandra. But the other guys had another adventure to go on. They would have turned off at Cromwell and spent another hour up in the hills. But I'm afraid I wasn't up to that, so I went directly to the motel in Alexandra while we were waiting for them.
Look at it. It's a long way ahead.
Now, eventually after coming out of the Thompson's Gorge Road, we came out on the main highway at Lake Dunstan. This is the top end of the lake. The lake is a man-made one formed by the building of the Clyde Dam a few years ago, where they dammed, I'm not sure, I can't remember the name of the river. But anyway, they dammed this river, and Cromwell, the town that we're heading to now, didn't used to be where it is now. If it had stayed where it was originally, it would be on the bottom of the lake. So the government relocated the town to higher ground before they flooded the lake. It's a little bit of history. Yeah, so anyway, it's quite a long, narrow lake, and we travel on this road for quite a while. So I'll cut most of it out, and I'll see you in Cromwell.
All okay? Oh, shit. See ya.
Now I've just left Cromwell. I just left my brother and Phil there. They were at the service station filling up with gas, ready to go on the last leg of the trip. They're going to be spending about an hour or so bashing away up in the hills that you can probably see on them to my right there on the other side of the river, but a lot further back than that. And then they'll come meet up with a road that comes across from the Queenstown side of the range of hills called the Nevis Road. So they'll join up with Nevis Road and come down it to Alexandra that way. In the meantime, I'm following the river. Now I figured out this is the Clutha River. The Clutha River was dammed up to form Lake Dunstan, and this is still part of it, as you can see. And a little bit further down the road is the Clyde Dam, which I'll try and get a view of out of the camera, but I'm not going to stop there. It's just another dam. Third largest hydroelectric dam in New Zealand, actually. Well, as it happens, I'm not going to get to film the Clyde Dam, so that's all for part 1 of this epic adventure, day 1. We'll have day 2 and 3 coming up next, so please make sure to get along and watch those. At the moment, I'm just going to carry on down to Alexandra, get to the motel, have a shower and a bit of a rest before the other boys arrive, and then we'll go into town for dinner and get ready for the next day and tell a few stories, tell a few lies, and find out what everyone's been up to during the day. So once again, thanks very much to Epic Adventures, or what are they called? Epic Events, for putting on this event. Absolutely fantastic. It's taken a huge amount of work, a huge amount of effort and organisation. A very small team of people who put this on, and they're all with us on the ride. Great bunch of people to be associated with, so thanks guys, and I hope you enjoy this video as much as I enjoy putting it together, and I'll be putting together the rest of it in the next couple of days. See you later.